As we roll into week 5, we're looking at a waiver wire that is straight janky with jabronis on it. It is not very deep. It doesn't have much at the top end, but we're trying to do the best with it. Compared to other weeks, it's pretty dry. Compared to last year, years prior, it's pretty bone dry. But we're going to look at some of the top waiver wire claims out there to help us build our rosters. But before we do, you need to click that subscribe button right now. Tap it with the finger on your phone, click it with your mouse, because we're doing deep dives on these players every single day, especially those lesser known waiver wire prospects. We're covering the waiver wire extensively every week. Multiple videos from positions to deep dives to all the positions all together in one video all throughout the week. We help you set those lineups. We help you win those trades. We help you with everything to help you win your league. But let's dig in. Let's look at 10 guys you can get off waivers this week. And like I said, it is ugly because we got Samaje Perine looking at you. 42% snap share on the season. 66 rushing yards on the season. So we're looking at a running back here with 66 rushing yards over a handful of games here. But he is running 13 routes a game, getting used in the passing game. And 6.8 PPR points per game. Javonte Williams is out. He's been hurt, but he might not miss much time. I don't know what that means. He could be back soon. It could be back in a few weeks. Usually when they say a player is day-to-day, they mean week-to-week. It's usually stretched out a little bit. But this is news that we got to watch and read the tea leaves on. When you're looking at Samaje Perine, you're looking at a running back who's getting touches, who's supposed to get a workload here, who's getting a good snap share, who could get you some opportunity. He's being used in the passing game. He is dependable. Upside's not too great. He is not a guy that's going to win you leagues. So if you're looking for that off the waiver wire, you may want to look somewhere else. But he is getting touches, might fall across the goal line here and there and get some workload to give you some weeks here. However, on the Broncos, not too exciting. And he's sharing the backfield with Jaleel McLovin over here, because I'm in trouble saying that name. 104 total yards versus the Bears yesterday. Looking good. And he's got some promise here. The coaching staff has been talking him up. And it looks like he's the upside play in the backfield. This might be a committee. He's earned more touches. He's earned more opportunity nonetheless. Even with Javonte back, he might get a couple extra touches a game, or even more if he keeps it up. 4.51 40-yard dash. Very productive from Youngstown State. Looked good yesterday. Has some potential. So a player you want to pay attention to here. And if you're looking to grab either one of these guys off waivers, you may want to play it safe with Perine. But if it was me, I'd go for the moon here, maybe get McLaughlin, get a little McLovin action, see what happens. What's it going to hurt if you miss on the Denver running back, for Christ's sake? It ain't going to hurt you at all. You just try and swing for the fences here, see what can happen here. But again, Javonte might be back sooner than later. When they say day-to-day on a player, it usually is week-to-week, so that's something you want to pay attention to. Read the tea leaves here, watch the news. We don't have much yet, but as of recent news headlines, he's expected to not miss much time, whatever that means. But going to our true wide receiver handcuff here, who is the only wide receiver handcuff in the league, because that's not a real thing. But Tyler Boyd makes it happen, because whenever Chase is out, Higgins is out, this is when he steps up. This is why we were looking at him in the offseason saying, hey, he's the only wide receiver handcuff here, and he gets opportunity and fantasy points when either one of these players are out. 13.9 PPR points per game when Higgins is out. Then look at his production over the last 3 years. See those green candlesticks? He's got wide receiver 1 upside. He's also got potential to get double-digit fantasy performances there in the scoring realms. And he can be consistent when it's just him and Chase, him and Higgins, because volume's going to come more his way. The offense didn't look good. They got to get back on track. The matchups coming up ain't going to be that great. But again, if you need a wide receiver and he's there, you may want to look at him, because he's going to be getting more opportunity with Higgins out. We don't know how long Higgins is going to be out. But again, Tyler Boyd gets opportunity when one of the top wide receivers is out, and that could lead to some fantasy production here and there. And some of you guys are hurting, and we got a rough waiver wire right now, so you're going to have to take what you can get. Next, Jake Ferguson. If you're looking for a tight end, he needs to get off waivers right now. He should have been plucked last week. He's still on waivers in a lot of league. Maybe not yours. but he's getting opportunity. Dak Prescott likes to target the tight end. He did it with Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is not a great tight end prospect, great tight end in general, but Ferguson, not a world beater either, but he's getting opportunity here. 18.5% target share. He leads all tight ends in red zone targets, getting good snap share, running a lot of routes for a tight end, getting a lot of opportunity. This Cowboys team is getting in games where they're putting up points on the scoreboard. They're getting in the red zone. Ferguson is getting opportunity to help you out. Trey Palmer. So this one might be a little bit stretched, but you gotta look at him at least. Mike Evans exited yesterday's game with a hamstring injury. They got a week 5 bye though, so that gives him opportunity to just get back to health. Maybe he comes back the following game, and Trey Palmer's not a thing. But you need to pay attention to Trey Palmer. When Mike Evans was out, he played in 100% of the snaps as the wide receiver 2 there next to Godwin. And the thing about him in preseason, he was going off. He was making plays in preseason games. He had a couple touchdowns. Training camp, play after play after play. Don't believe me? Guess what? It's on this channel. Google search him up. I'm going to come up, and I got the highlights of Trey Palmer. Go take a look at him. This guy makes plays happen. He's got sticky hands. He's got 4.3 speed. If they decide to trade Mike Evans, then guess what? Palmer's going to be the next guy up, and he has some upside with Baker Mayfield throwing up YOLO balls, and Trey Palmer is a YOLO ball wide receiver. Next, Michael Wilson. We've been talking about him off and on all season, and even in the off season. And again, we covered his training camp clips. Google him up on the YouTubes. I'm going to come up, and you're going to see what he's been doing in training camp, and he's been looking good. He's a very nuanced route runner. He can create separation, strong hands, looked great at the Senior Bowl. It was him and Puka Nacua going at it as those wide receivers who did not go gangbuster in production, but when you check the tape, you check what they were doing at the Senior Bowl, and you're like, hey, there might be something here. And he's been looking good with the Cardinals, and he has been getting some run. He's been running about 75% of the routes. He's been running a lot of routes per game, and we knew that's going to come to targets and then production. We're catching that now. Had a blow-up performance yesterday. Could have some more going forward, but he's getting routes ran. He's getting opportunity. He's getting targets. He needs to be rostered in fantasy right now. Just see what happens. He's a rookie with some draft capital behind him, and he could explode or at least become a bigger producer in the next few weeks. Now we're looking at Chuba Hubbard. Miles Sanders had a groin injury, tried to play with it, did not work too well. Hubbard ran on 54% of snaps, 16 touches, did not score too well for fantasy. However, when you look at him last year, is 6th in yards per touch and can be efficient, and you want to chase volume. Sanders has an injury history that just keeps cropping up. It's cropping up now. It'll probably crop up some more. Hubbard's getting some workload, some volume. We've talked about him prior as a waiver wire get because he is stepping into some touches and some opportunity, and some of you guys just need touches and opportunity at running back, and there's really no running backs to even get. Now we're looking at Romeo Dubose, whatever you want to call him. He shouldn't be on waivers either, but there are some leagues where he's sitting there, and you really just need to hit that button, click it. He's getting 8.3 targets per game, 25 in his last 2 games. He's healthy. He's good to go. He's getting a 25% target share, running 30 routes per game. Love is looking better than advertised, and in matchups where they got to push the ball, Dubs is going to get some opportunity. Maybe a guy you want in your lineups. Now we're looking at Josh Reynolds, and it's been low these last couple of weeks, but 4.8 targets per game, 15.3% target share with a 12.3 ADOT, which is huge because he's getting those deep targets. Look for Jameson Williams to take some of those once he gets acclimated and if he starts running a lot of routes and snaps. But he led the team in receiving last week, an opportunity to win. Jared Goff only dropped back 28 times. It was a low-volume passing game. So if that passing volume was increased that game, we could have had more production, more opportunity going his way. Still a guy that if you're struggling at wide receiver, why not take a stab at a wide receiver who's running a lot of snaps and routes in a high-powered offense and scoring points. Now we're looking at our last guy here, Keaton Mitchell. I did a whole video on him. Take a look, but we're going to pound this one to the ground because Keaton Mitchell has a ton of upside, and he's in a running back depth chart full of jabronis. And jabronis break, they lose opportunity. Keaton Mitchell is just an upside play. He's a lottery ticket. Don't expect him to go to the moon. Expect him to go to the moon if it cashes in, but lottery tickets, like all lottery tickets, most of them lay on the ground. But if you hit, you might hit on a league winner here because he could go to the moon on you with a 4.37 speed. Very productive at ECU. The team likes him. He made it through training camp unscathed. He made it to the team. He was on IR for a little bit. It might have been a good thing for him because now he's coming back. He's fresh. These running backs have been jabroning it up. And now he's going to get his opportunity to do something. It might be a couple touches here, a couple touches there. Then maybe we get a blast off, maybe not. But again, the waiver wire sucks right now. There's nobody to really go after. Might as well shoot for that upside. And if he hits, he's going to hit big. It's not going to be in the middle. It's going to be all or nothing with this prospect. Because one, the run game says, hey, we're going to give the lead dog touches in this backfield. And two, he's got the speed and burst to take it home. Because we saw that in preseason. We saw that at the NFL Combine. But those are some guys you can go after on waivers this week. Let me know what you think in the comments below. We'll have more waiver wire content coming at you here shortly for the running backs and wide receivers. So hit that subscribe button. Stop missing out. I'll catch you on the next video.